Hey there, welcome to this Yoga for Runners class. Thank you for joining. This will be a short flow that will hopefully be perfect to do immediately after a run, or maybe a day or two after. Going to primarily release some tension in the legs, hip flexors, quads, but also touch on upper body too, a little bit of twisting to release some tension from all of that arm swinging. So yeah, hope you enjoy. We're going to begin lying down on our backs. So if you want to make yourselves comfortable, go ahead and sprawl the arms, sprawl the legs out. It might be nice to take a little bit of movement into the shoulders or the jaw just to get comfortable. And go ahead and close your eyes and take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Make them satisfying, make them long. Maybe close your eyes on the third exhale. And as you do, just allow your attention to settle on your body. Starting to notice how the arms, the legs feel. Just making sure that you're tuning into what's going on inside rather than out. I'm starting to notice your breathing, maybe slowing it down. Softening it up. Pay attention to both your inhale and your exhale. And I invite you to take maybe 5 or 6 full breathing cycles using your diaphragm. Making sure you're breathing into your lower belly. And really just slowing the body down, slowing the mind down as well. You can stay as long as you need. Otherwise, when you're ready, take your time. You can bring the knees up towards the chest. Go ahead and squeeze. Give yourself a nice little hug. You grab your elbows, rocking from side to side. Or we'll just immediately go into the legs and the hips by grabbing the knees and starting to draw some nice little circles. Maybe going one leg going clockwise, the other leg going anti-clockwise. Or maybe both knees in the same direction. You can start to trace the figure of 8 with your legs. Maybe movement into your ankles, open and close your toes. Just notice how you feel. So notice how your legs are doing. Pick up on any tight, specific areas. And we'll straight away just kind of take it all the way towards our all fours. So you could grab the backs of your knees, start to roll forwards and backwards, and you can head there however you want to, sliding your legs off to the side, or maybe cross your feet, place your hands down in front of you, and then step back. And we'll straight away kind of head straight up towards our downward facing dog. You can take any movement here, maybe a few cat and cows, maybe a little attention onto the hands and the wrists, give them a little warm up before you come up. Shake out the feet, give the ankles a turn, and then take your time as you lift up. Suck in your tummy, lift your hips very high, allow your head to feel heavy, and just go ahead and pedal your feet out quite a lot, moving the knees and the hips. And if you've been for a run recently, today, the last couple of days, I'm sure you're going to be feeling something in the muscles and the backs of your legs. Make sure you're super aware of it. Go quick with the pedal, go slow. Make sure you're pushing quite hard with your hands. And I'm going to invite you to take a little shortened downward dog. So maybe step one foot in, a foot, and then join it with the other foot. So your downward dog feels a little bit awkward, a bit shorter, so we can really get some purchase on the muscles on the backs of our legs. Try and keep your feet straight if you can, thighs internally rotating. Relax your head and breathe deeply. Try and immerse yourself in how this feels for you, backs of the legs. Before, with control, coming back to your downward dog, so take a step back. And I suggest looking at your hands, your fingers, make sure they're very wide. We're pressing down quite hard, particularly on the fleshy bit at the base of your thumb. Make sure your arms are straight, elbows sweeping in towards each other, relax your face. And reconnect with the breath here, long inhale and long exhale. Before lifting your right leg up towards the ceiling, let's bend the knee and we'll kick the heel towards left sitting bone. This in itself, nice little stretch for your right hip flexors, pointing your right knee to the ceiling and driving your left heel down. Try and keep your shoulders square to the mat, and then step outside of your right hand. And we'll find a twist here, so left hand stays on the ground, lift your right arm up towards the ceiling, chest open to the right, soft left elbow. Tuck the right knee in towards your chest, and try and keep your back leg strong so there's no bend in the left knee. You can look up towards your right hand. This is where hopefully the muscles in between the ribs and the back should feel a nice little stretch after a run. Before lowering your right hand, we're going to find a lizard pose. So you can either keep your left knee off the ground, quite an active lizard pose, maybe a little movement onto the toes of the back foot, you could roll forwards and backwards. Or drop your left knee, relax the top of the left foot. You can take it any way you want to from here. Keep your hands on the ground, maybe go a little deeper, forearms on the ground. Or a variation that I quite enjoy recently, you can take the hands all the way over towards the left, going quite deep into the groin here. You could maybe take the the right fingers on this side a little bit further than the left. Relax your head before coming back to center with your hands. And let's shuffle the right foot into the middle of the mat. And park up the right knee above your right ankle and then lift your arms above the head and coming into a low lunge. Arms straight, biceps hugging the ears. Make sure your right knee's above the right ankle. And maybe even shuffle your right foot forwards if you feel that you can go into it a little bit deeper. So really stretching out the left hip flexors here. Scooping your chest forwards and up towards the ceiling will help. Maybe looking high, breathing into it before lowering your hands. And let's frame the right foot with them and then straighten out the right leg coming into a half splits position. You can point toes to the face. You want to keep your hips square to the front of the mat. Really go ahead and take your time with this, particularly if you've just come out of a run, you're going to be feeling something. 3 or 4 deep breaths into whatever is coming up. And then we'll roll forwards. We're going to frame the right foot with our hands, lift the left knee off the ground and step forward. So left foot joins the right foot at the front of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift, so the hands are on the shins, back is flat. Exhale, fold. Drop your head, drop your hands, bend your knees a little bit. And go ahead and take a ragdoll pose here, grabbing elbows, swinging from side to side. Or maybe interlocking your fingers behind the back and sweeping your arms up and over. Should feel pretty good on the shoulders. You can play around here with straightening one leg, straightening the other, just to tap into the hamstrings here. Notice how the calves are doing. Before lowering both your hands, and we'll enjoy a twist. So you can bend the right knee quite a lot, keep the right hand on the ground, straighten out your left leg, and lift your left arm high. Looking up towards that left hand. Before doing the same thing on the other side. So the left knee will bend, left hand goes down, straighten out your right leg, open out the chest to the right. And you can do it one more time, just see if you go a little bit deeper into it. Hopefully you can start to feel the ITB as well, or at least the entire kind of outside of left leg on this side. Make sure you've done it both, even on both sides. Before lowering both hands. Let's take a step back with the right foot. And we'll keep the right hand on the mat as we lift our left arm to the ceiling. So coming into our twist on this side. Again, make sure the left knee's tucking in towards your chest. Kick your right heel away from you. Hips square to the mat. Enjoy it, take as long as you need. And then we'll find our lizard on this side. So again, maybe keep it active to start with. Roll over the toes. You could drop the right knee, relax the top of the right foot. And then maybe forearms go down as well. You may find that shuffling your left foot all the way out towards the side will be a good one, just to go a little bit deeper into it. Before coming back, and we'll shuffle the left foot into the middle, and then lift the arms above the head, coming into our low lunge on this side. And really take your time. You can think of lengthening the space between your right knee and your right fingers, really kind of stretching and lengthening that space. Before coming down with the hands, finding your half split, so left leg straightens, point toes to face. Kick heel away from you, hip square, chest open, breathe. And then we'll roll forwards. Step back to your plank position, shoulders above the wrists, kick both heels away from you. Make sure your fingers are wide. And let's take a gentle vinyasa. So we'll drop the knees, the chest and the chin all the way down. Inhale as you lift your chest. And take as long as you need here. It might be nice just to kind of stretch out the core a little bit. Look to the left, look to the right. Give your shoulders a roll. And then head on back to your downward facing dog, taking your time. And we'll come to that shortened downward dog, one step in with one foot, one step in with the other. And we'll take a little bit of a twist here by sweeping the left hand towards the right foot. So see if you can grab hold of the outside of your right ankle or the right shin. And you may need to bend one of your knees, or your left knee in this case, quite a lot to allow this to happen, maybe not. And then go ahead and look towards your right armpit to increase the twist. Before doing the same thing on the other side, think about moving with control. Don't forget to breathe. And we'll come out of it slowly and then lower our knees onto the mat. And we're going to find my kind of almost my favorite pose, post run, camel pose. We're going to stand on our knees, stack the hips on top of the knees, fingers on the bum. And let's start to open out the chest. You can look forwards, look high. A little bit of a back bend. You can maybe even look behind you. Hip flexors, both sides getting a decent lengthening out. And come back to center. Maybe take a moment to rest. And we can come into it again, perhaps going a little deeper. If you have the flexibility to do it, you may want to take the hands behind you, grab hold of the soles of the feet or the ankles or the calves, and really start to open out your chest, your collarbones. Otherwise, just stay with your hands on your lower back. Breathe slowly wherever you are. And we'll come out of it with control. Placing hands down and lifting our hips back up to our downward facing dog. Go ahead and take a pedal out of the feet again. Before coming to the front of the mat, now we're going to take it to a yogi squat. So you could walk your feet or you could jump your feet, land your feet outside your hands. Again, nice go-to post run, really getting deep into the hips. You can keep your hands on the ground for support if that is necessary, or maybe hands to heart. Don't worry too much about your heels if they're not on the mat. Don't stress about it. Let's open out the legs with the elbows. Focus on chest being high and bum being low. Try and immerse yourself in what's going on, the little sensations. Breathe deeply into them before relaxing the hands down, and we'll shoot the bum and the hips up high into a standing forward fold. Shuffle your feet in towards each other. We're going to take a forward fold but with crossed legs. So just gently uncurl to a standing pose. As you get up there, it might be nice to lift the arms up high before bringing your hands to heart or hands down by your sides. And we'll sweep the right foot behind us and then shuffle the right foot forward so the little toes are now touching. Might take a little bit of shuffling around. Once you're there, lift up the arms with the inhale, go down with the exhale. So we're folding, hinging at the hips. Now your right leg is straight, but your left knee is quite bent here to allow the pose to happen. You may want to stay here. This might be quite much for you. Otherwise, maybe halfway lift, lengthen out the back, and then fold. See if you can get the head down a little bit deeper. If you want to go into it a little bit further or target particularly the outside of your right leg here, you can walk the hands over towards the left. This is perfect kind of ITB lengthening territory, outer hip. Again, this is a real go-to after a run. Take your time in it. Come back to the center and let's uncross the feet and then just shuffle around so you can do the same thing on the other side. So little toes touching. And then again, so this side, the right knee is going to be bent and the left leg will be straight. Maybe there's a halfway lift to lengthen the spine, and then drop the head before walking your hands, if you're up for it, going over to the right. And not only kind of down the entire left side of your left leg, you can hopefully start to feel it down the side of your upper body on the left side here, walking your hands a little bit further to increase. Breathe into it, enjoy it, take as long as you need, and then we'll come back to center. Uncross your feet before taking the left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Shuffle your right foot forwards and then take it all the way over towards your left wrist or your left hand. We're going to prepare for our pigeon pose. So we can gently lower the right knee down onto the ground, hopefully next to your right hand or your right wrist. It might take a little bit of shuffling around as well, this one. Look behind you, relax the top of your left foot. Make sure your left leg is straight, it might be caving in a little bit. And then go ahead and think about your hips here. If they're dumping down on one side, see if you can kind of square them out. And you might need a block or a book to park it up underneath the right sitting bone here. Or maybe even park it up underneath the left hip. Stay here for a little bit. If you want to go into it deeper, you can always come into your sleeping pigeon, just allowing your hands to walk out in front of you. And don't kind of force it, don't push it too hard, but maybe you're going all the way down. If your hands and your head are coming down to the ground, try and lengthen your upper body as you go, and keep your hips square to the mat. Otherwise, just stay on your hands, and we'll be here for like at least 5 or 6 breaths. Breathing deeply into the right glutes here, getting a very decent stretch. And also, of course, the left hip flexors. So maybe close your eyes and see if you can keep the focus. Try not to let the mind wander off. Just staying locked into the sensations and the breath. And then when you're ready, we'll do exactly the same thing on the other side. So you can kind of head there however you want to. I always like to sweep the right leg back to a downward dog, maybe even shake out the leg, and then take the left knee forwards, and then park it up. So the left foot kind of nudging towards the top corner, to top right corner of your mat. So the shin is parallel to the top end of your mat. A little bit of a guide. Not that it necessarily has to get there. Again, little glance behind you, keep the leg straight. Breathe in, lift up the chest, find that length and height in your upper body. And again, just kind of stay here, hips square. We'll go into it a little bit further. Take your time, try not to force anything. Look after your body. Keep your awareness levels high. Maybe the forehead is down. Or maybe you're just staying on your hands. Wherever you are, make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Your jaw is relaxed. Maybe eyes are closed, and you can take some slow breaths into wherever it is you feel it the most. So taking your breath to the left glutes, taking your breath to the right hip flexors here, and bringing an extra bit of softness to your body with the exhale. And we'll come out of it with control. We're going to stay on the mat. We'll roll onto the left sitting bone here. Weight of the body comes down. Maybe your left hand is there for support. You can sweep your right leg forwards. Once you're there, shuffle your left foot forwards as well. We'll straighten out our legs. Point toes to the ceiling. And we're going to fold over the legs. Breathing in, lifting up your arms. With the exhale, fold. Maybe the knees are bent quite a lot here as you allow your chest to kind of smother your thighs. In fact, I encourage you to bend your knees a hell of a lot. Allow the chest to make that connection first. Natural tendencies, looking down at your knees. Maybe you can look forwards over your toes instead to lengthen out the back, flatten it out. hands on legs or hands on feet. Just take a moment here, relax your shoulders, sort of draw them away from your ears. And then you can start playing around with straightening out the legs. Once you've found that space in your spine, the muscles stretching out, then you can maybe tap into the calves and the hamstrings if you want to go into it. Grabbing a block and placing it at the soles of your feet is also an option if you want to go very deep into it. Before gently coming out. And let's roll or hover all the way down onto our backs. Take your time. As you get down there, let's bend the left knee and we'll place the foot on the mat before finding a reclining pigeon runner's stretch, I think it's sometimes called. We'll find a figure of four with the legs, so right foot, left thigh. You can thread the fingers in between the gap in your legs, so right hand goes through, interlock fingers around left shin or left thigh. Flex your feet and gently draw the left knee towards your face. Maybe head comes up off the mat. Relax your shoulders. And you may want to start to push your right knee forwards a little bit for a bit more purchase. Maybe even using the right hand to nudge the knee away. Before slowly straightening out your left leg, we'll take hold of the right knee with the left hand, coming into a supine twist. Right arm can extend out to the right, and you can softly take the knee over to the left as you keep your right shoulder on the ground, right elbow on the ground, and right wrist on the ground. Glutes on the right side lengthening out, belly soft, spinal twist, looking towards your right hand to increase it. Maybe you can close the eyes here. Try and soften your breath. Relax your body into this twisted position and enjoy it. No rushing. Before coming back onto your back, and we'll straighten out the right leg, grab your thigh or your calf or your toes, and we'll gently draw the leg in towards the face, tapping into the hamstrings again. Maybe the head is down or maybe the head is up. Try not to go into it too kind of hard and strong. You want to find that sweet spot of challenging yourself but not pushing it too far. Maybe even the ankles, a bit of a turn. Notice the toes. And then lower down slowly. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, taking your time. So right foot, placing it on the mat as the right knee bends. And let's create that figure of four with our legs on this side. Reclining pigeon. So getting a similar purchase as our sleeping pigeon previously. Interlock fingers round the thigh or the shin. Flex feet and hug it in. You may want to gently nudge the left knee forwards this time. And if you want to think about tuning into your breathing, maybe there's an extra draw or hug or embrace as you exhale. So inhale to prepare. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, squeeze. Straighten right leg. And we'll come into our twist as we take the knee, the left knee over to the right with the right hand. Making sure the chest is very open. You want to think of straightening out your right leg here, so kick the heel away from you, lengthen your neck, just to encourage that length in your spine as we twist. Looking to left hand and closing eyes. Relax your jaw. Bring a softness to the quality of your breathing. Coming out of it, straighten left leg. And we'll tap into the hamstrings here. Notice what goes on with the foot as well. If you flex it quite a lot, point toes to face, you might target more of the calf muscles. Whereas if you relax the foot, you may be targeting the hamstrings. Lifting head up, relax. Don't push it too hard. And then lower yourself slowly. And just take a moment to relax your legs here. Notice how they are doing, making sure that you continue to be mindful about how these movements feel for your body. And we'll bring both knees up to the chest and enjoy getting the knees out to the sides. You can grab hold of the backs of your knees with your hands and gently nudge the thighs down towards ribs. Maybe feet go high, soles of the feet face the ceiling. Could grab insides of feet with hands. Maybe even grabbing big toes with your fingers and straightening out one leg. Maybe straightening out the other leg. Could straighten out both legs at the same time. Before returning back to center. And one final little check-in with your legs. Maybe some circles again. Just notice how everything's doing after that little bit of movement. We'll be heading down towards our Shavasana pose, just to let all of that stuff settle, soak into the body. So sprawling the legs, sprawling the arms. Could take a satisfying breath in through the nose and out through the mouth before closing your eyes. And taking your attention to your legs, really letting your ankles feel heavy, soften your toes, relaxing the muscles, the calf muscles, the thighs, the quads, almost kind of picturing the muscles soften, the fibrous tissue. You can imagine the knots that running creates, you can kind of imagine them untangle after all of that work. Imagine what it feels like to completely let go of your arms. Let your breath flow naturally and relax the back of your head. Take your attention to your face. And if there's any kind of tension there in the jaw or the brow, bring a total softness. We'll stay here for just a short while, finding stillness both physically and mentally. Notice if the mind wanders off, notice any disruptions. Try not to let it run away with you. Come back to focusing on how your body feels. Maybe following the breath in and out as it comes and goes. Before easing out of your Shavasana pose, sort of gentle movements, whatever feels good for you. May be nice to take a full body stretch, arms above the head. And just returning to a seated position, taking your time and enjoying one final moment here. Maybe closing eyes, just taking the time to notice, pay attention to how you feel. And a little nod to your practice. Thank you for joining. Thanks for letting me guide you. Awesome stuff. Namaste. Take it very easy, whatever you're up to for the rest of the day, and hope to see you soon.